Hello, this is Leslie from Just Less Creations. Welcome back to our fall creation series that we're doing. Our first video was a pumpkin and it turned out amazing. The next one we're going to do is an apple because fall is all about making apple sauce, apple pies, apple cobblers, apple crisp, and I love the baking apples that we get in the fall. So today we're going to do our green Granny Smith apple. So let's get started. So I have a little bit of this pound cake left. All right, so we're just gonna roll it. We're gonna push, 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 squeezing out any air bubbles or anything in there that shouldn't be in there. We want it nice and firm, consistent the whole way through the cake pop. So once you feel it coming together, you will. There's a distinctive place where it just comes together. Then you want to go backwards, releasing that pressure on your hands nice and gently. It creates that nice ball. Okay, and so from this place, I am going to create the shape of the apple. I'm just going to squeeze the bottom end a little bit. All right, so I'm going to take my small ball tool and just put a little indentation here. And then I'm just going to smooth that out a little bit. We don't want any hard places. Again, I'm going to just make sure my fingerprints are out of there. And then I'm going to use a bigger ball tool, sit this down, take a bigger ball tool right down from the top. This is where our stem is going to be. And then I'm just going to make sure that it's all nice and smooth. Take that edge off of there. Okay, and then let's go ahead and put a stick in there. So we have this light green Granny Smith apple color. Let me move it into frame for you so you can watch what I'm doing. And give it a stir here real good. I'm going to dip just the edge and I'm going to put it up through the bottom and I'm going to spin it until I feel it catch. And then I'm going to go back a quarter of a turn. And then I'm just going to take it off of the bottom. We're going to let it sit here and set up, let that chocolate harden up on the inside while we make the elements that we need for our apple. Let's move this out of the way. Okay, so the first thing we need is a stem for our apple. So I have a little bit of brown modeling chocolate. Again, if you have not watched the video on modeling chocolate, please go back out and watch the video on making modeling chocolate. And it's just chocolate and corn syrup. It's a super simple, easy process that you can do. So we're just taking some modeling chocolate, I'm rolling it out, and then I'm going to push down on the top to make the end of it just wider. That would be where it connected to the branch. So we're just going to lay that aside for a moment, and then we're going to make a couple leaves for the top of our apple. Again, this is just green modeling chocolate. I used a little bit of green and yellow to create this color. It's a little tacky because my hands are warm. So when we have tacky, moist chocolate, we just want to add a little bit of corn syrup or cornstarch. The cornstarch will remove some of that moisture. I don't want it to the chocolate to stick to my rollers on my KitchenAid. I have a pasta maker. A little bit more. Okay, all right, and I just have this little tiny leaf cookie cutter. It's for petals. There's one, there's two, and I'll make one extra one just in case. Pop that out there. And okay. We'll add some veins to it. Spin it around. so I can work with them all in the right direction. This is a veining tool here. You have a thicker end and a thinner end. Because they're little tiny leaves, I'm just going to use the thin end, and I'm just going to put a single line right down through the center, like so. Like so. And then I'm going to move them out of the way a little bit, because the next thing I'm going to do is use some luster dust to add a little bit of texture, or a little bit of a dimension to it. And I want to keep the luster dust overflow there. I already have some mixed, but it's kind of light, so I guess I should tell you. I have a Kelly green. I also have a forest green. Excuse me. That's what's in here, but because this color is so similar to this color of the green modeling chocolate, I'm going to add just a little bit more of that forest green in here to create just a little darker green, like so. And right where I put that vein, I'm just going to dot some of that color in there. I just want to create a difference, a definitive highlight and dark that makes it pop. That's all that I'm doing. Now, it's not a necessary thing, but it will set you apart from other cake pop makers when you add those little details to your cake pops and make them more realistic. All right, so let's go ahead and dip our Granny Smith apple. And we have here, I think the chocolate is set up pretty good on the inside that we can go ahead and dip it. Let's give our chocolate a good stir. Let's make sure it's all the same temperature throughout. All right, so we're going to put it in at a 45-degree angle. We're going to spin it just until the chocolate touches itself. So drop in 45 and spin, and then we're going to pull it right back out, and then we're just going to tap. Now, I do see a bunch of bubbles already. Let's see if they pop as I'm tapping them gently. Let's make sure there's no... Okay, we're good at the top. Sometimes when you have divots like that, that's a good place where you can catch an air bubble. All right, there's a couple right there. Air bubbles usually come from aggressively stirring your chocolate as it's melting. Just continue to tap that off. This is such an easy cake pop that it just comes together so quickly once you have the elements made. All right, let's just help that's pulling at the bottom. All right. Smooth it out. Let's take that excess off the bottom here. All right, while it's still wet, I'm going to take my stem and I am actually going to just put them right down in the top, like so. And I'm just going to push it in there, making sure it doesn't tilt or lean. There we go with that. And then we have our 2 leaves. We're going to put 2 leaves on there. I'm just going to try to make one stand up. And then one kind of lay down behind, like so. Oh, I've got chocolate on there. Cut that out, Jack. So it helps if you put the leaves on the right way. All right, so we're gonna take, let me fix this up because that looks like crap now. Because it's cold, and this cake pop will probably crack on me. All right, so I'm just going to add just a little bit of chocolate to the bottom here on both of these leaves, like so. And then I'm going to put one by the stem and try to kind of keep them up there in the air. Maybe if I can get a hold of it. I'm going to do the other side the same way. Just kind of keep them up and roll them. Push them down just a little bit. Make sure they're sticking. And there you go. We have a Granny Smith apple ready to be made apple pies. All right, guys, here you go. Super simple. Another easy cake pop for our fall season. Granny Smith apples are a must if you are a baker in the kitchen with apple pies and apple cobblers and apple crisp and all kinds of apple stuff, including, you know, I use Granny Smith apples when I make my apple juice. Just adds that little bit of tartness with a bunch of sweet apples when you use the other ones. So it's a super easy, simple one to add to your lineup for the fall. I encourage you to go and try it. I encourage you to bolster up the courage to do it. I know you can do this. You're here, you're looking at the tutorial, you're trying to elevate your understanding of it. So now let's elevate your skill set. So until the next tutorial, have an amazing day. See you later. Today, won't you click the link to reserve your spot in my consultation schedule? Don't stress any longer. Let me help you get the breakthrough that you're looking for today.